I need to tell you something tonight that the world considers impolite to say out loud, so I'm going to say it the way the old ones said things, plainly, without decoration, and if it stings, let it sting in the right place. The most betrayed people on this earth are not the careless ones. They are not the ones who trusted foolishly or loved recklessly or kept bad company knowingly. The most betrayed people on this earth, consistently, generationally, without exception in all my years of watching, are the loyal ones, the faithful, the ones who stayed, the ones who kept their word when breaking it would have been easier, who showed up when showing up cost them something, who held the line for people who were already, quietly, planning their exit. And if that is you, and I believe for most of this audience it is, then you know the specific wound I am talking about tonight, because it is not the wound of being hurt by a stranger. Strangers cannot betray you. Betrayal requires a contract, and strangers signed nothing. The wound of the loyal is being hurt precisely by the ones they held the line for, the ones they would have walked through fire for, the ones they chose deliberately above all others and stayed with, through the hard seasons when staying was a daily decision made against every instinct telling them to go. You stayed, and they did not. Or worse, they stayed in body and betrayed in spirit, and you found out last because the loyal always find out last. And tonight I am going to tell you why that is. Why this pattern is not bad luck, not poor judgment, not a flaw in your character, but an arithmetic built into the very nature of what loyalty is. And when you see the arithmetic, two things are going to happen. The wound is going to make sense for the first time, and the loyalty, hear me, the loyalty is going to survive it, because it should survive it, because it is the best thing about you, and the betrayers do not get to kill it. The old ones would not allow that, and neither will I. So hear the arithmetic, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and it will explain the pattern of your entire life. Loyalty is a door held open. Understand that image, because it is the whole mechanism. When you are loyal to a person, you hold a door open for them into your life, into your trust, into the rooms where your real things are kept, your plans, your money, your heart, your time, your reputation, and you hold it open consistently through the seasons because that is what loyalty means. The door stays open through the disagreements and the disappointments, and the long stretches of silence and the times they were not at their best. You hold it through all of it, because you made a decision about this person, and you are the kind of person whose decisions hold. Now hear the terrible truth inside the image. An open door is an unguarded door. Every moment that door stands open for the ones you chose, it stands open equally for their worst impulses, their selfishness, their taking, their lies. And you, the loyal one, standing beside the door you refuse to close, are the most exposed person in the room. The disloyal are not exposed this way. They do not hold doors open long enough for damage to accumulate. They rotate, they guard, they calculate, they close at the first sign of cost, and their hearts, behind all those closed doors, are small and safe and untouched. Your heart is none of those things. Your heart has been standing in an open doorway for decades, and everything that came through it, the love and the knife, came through the same door, and you could not have had one without the other. And that, my friend, is the arithmetic. The loyal are not betrayed more because they choose worse. They are betrayed more because they stay longer, and time, plus an open door, plus an imperfect human being on the other side of it, equals eventual betrayal. It is not a question of if. It is a question of when, and the loyal, because they stay, are always there when the when arrives. And I will tell you about the arithmetic working in one life, because you will see your own. A woman I knew gave 40 years to a friendship. 40 years, since girlhood, the kind of friendship where she drove 3 hours for the surgeries, lent the money that was never discussed again, kept the secrets that were never traded, defended the name that was questioned at her own table. 40 years of door held wide. And the friend, at the end of those 40 years, did a thing I will not describe because it belongs to the woman and not to me. But it was a betrayal that used every piece of access that 40 years of loyalty had provided, every secret known, every vulnerability mapped, every room of the house walked through. And the woman said to me afterward, in the voice that every betrayed loyal person speaks in, the stunned, quiet, almost scientific voice. She said, "The worst part is not what she did. The worst part is that she could only do it because I let her all the way in." And she was right. And that is the arithmetic laid bare. The knife could not have reached that deep from the porch. It could only reach that deep from inside the house, and only the loyal let anyone that far inside. And yet, hear what I told her, and hear what I tell you. The letting in was not the mistake. The letting in was the love. The mistake, if there was one, and I am not even certain there was the absence of a threshold, which I will teach you before we are done tonight. But the open door itself, the 40 years of faithfulness, that was her glory, not her error, and I would not let her read it otherwise, and I will not let you read yours otherwise either. Before I share the next teaching, I need to tell you something. I am not going to be here forever, and most of what I know was never written anywhere. So I sat down and I wrote it, all of it. 20 teachings, 4 parts, in the order they were meant to be received. The ones about the open door and how to keep it without being destroyed by it. The ones about the arithmetic of loyalty and the practice that saves it. The ones I have never said on camera. It is called The Native Way, and it costs less than one dinner you will not remember. Scan the code on your screen or look in the comments, but do not leave yet, because next I'm going to show you why you always find out last, and that part, when you hear it, is going to release a specific shame you have been carrying for years. Now, why the loyal find out last? Because there is a second wound inside the first wound, and for some of you it is the deeper one. It was not only the betrayal, it was that everyone seemed to know except you. The friend knew, the sister knew, the neighbor had seen things, and you, the one with the most at stake, the one who had given the most, held the longest, defended the hardest. You were the last person in the room to learn the truth. And the shame of that, the hot, specific shame of having been the fool, the one who trusted while others saw clearly, has sat in you for years, maybe decades, and you have read it as evidence of your own stupidity. And hear me now, because this is urgent. It was never stupidity. It was loyalty doing what loyalty does, and here is what it does. Loyalty installs a filter. When you have decided about a person, truly decided, the way you decide, your mind begins involuntarily to sort the evidence in their favor. The small signs get explained away. The inconsistencies get granted the benefit of the doubt, and not once, not twice, but 1,000 times. Because you are the kind of person who grants it 1,000 times. And the mind does this not from weakness, hear the old understanding, but from honor. Because a loyal mind knows, at some deep level of its own integrity, that suspicion and loyalty cannot live in the same house, and it chose loyalty. So suspicion gets shown the door, every time, and the evidence that suspicion was trying to bring gets shown out with it. That is why you were last to know. Not because you were blind, my friend, because you were faithful. And faithfulness, real faithfulness, the kind worth having, cannot keep one eye on the evidence at all times. The guarded ones saw the signs because they are always scanning for them, because they expect betrayal the way you expect loyalty, and expectation, in both directions, finds what it is looking for. You were not looking for betrayal. You were looking every day for reasons to keep the door open, and you found them, the same way the suspicious find their evidence, selectively, loyally, until the truth got too large to sort away, and by then it was years, and everyone had known for years, and you stood there, last,
feeling foolish in the rubble of a house you had defended past its burning. But you were not foolish. You were the last soldier at a post everyone else abandoned. The shame you have been carrying belongs to the ones who left, not to the one who stayed.
So what do you do with the loyalty now? Because here is where most teachings fail you, and the modern world fails you, and I will not. The modern world gives you two choices after betrayal: become guarded or be betrayed again, build the walls or stay the fool. And I'm telling you tonight that both options are traps, and the old way walked a third path between them. And it is the path I am asking you to walk, because it is the only one that keeps the best of you alive. Here's the third path. Keep the loyalty. Change the door. In the old way, a loyal person who had been betrayed was not told to stop being loyal. Hear me clearly. Loyalty was among the most honored traits a person could carry, and the old ones would sooner break a man's bow than break his loyalty, because a person without loyalty is a person without bonds, and a person without bonds is a danger to the whole circle. So the loyalty stayed, always. But the door, after a betrayal, got rebuilt. Not closed, rebuilt. And the rebuilt door had something the first door lacked, and it is the thing I am handing you tonight. The rebuilt door had a threshold. In the old way, trust was given in stages, earned in seasons, not granted in a single decision the way you have been granting it your whole life. The first season, the door opens a little, enough for warmth, not enough for damage. The person is met with genuine kindness, genuine welcome, not the calculated warmth of the guarded, real warmth, your warmth. Because you are not pretending to be someone else. You are being the same loyal person with better architecture. And over seasons, as the person proves themselves with time, hear that word, time, not words, not promises, not tears, time, the door opens further and further until the full trust is reached, if it is ever reached, and some people earn it and some never do, and both outcomes are fine, because the threshold is doing its work. My grandmother built her whole life on the threshold, and she was the most loyal woman I ever knew, and the least betrayed. She loved everyone who came to her door instantly, fully. That was her light, but her trust walked a different road than her love, and she was never ashamed of that, and she told me the difference plainly. Love is given, grandson. Trust is grown. Love is a gift. Trust is a harvest, and no farmer on this earth plants in the morning and harvests at noon. Anyone who asks for your full trust before the season is finished is asking you to harvest what has not yet grown, and the only reason a person rushes a harvest is that they know, somewhere in them, that the crop will not survive a full growing season in the light. Let that sentence sit in you tonight, because it would have saved you 10 years with certain people if you had heard it young. And so you see what the threshold looks like in daily practice. Let me show you the woman from the 40-year friendship, because she rebuilt, and the rebuilding is the proof. After the betrayal, she did not close. I watched her closely, worried she would, because closing was the obvious prescription and everyone around her was writing it. She did not close, but she changed her architecture, and the change was quiet and total. A new friend entered her life naturally, a good woman, and I watched the threshold working. The warmth was immediate, fully her, lunches and laughter and genuine delight in the company, her light undimmed, and the trust walked separately at its own pace. Private matters stayed private for the first year. Money was never in the picture. The keys to the interior rooms, the secrets, the vulnerabilities, stayed in her pocket, not from suspicion, hear me, from practice. And over 3 years, this new friend proved herself in the only currency the threshold accepts, which is time. Not dramatic gestures, not declarations. Time. Consistent time. Showing up, being present, keeping the small confidences before being offered the large ones. And I saw the door widen, season by season, earned, and at the end of 3 years this woman had a friendship as deep as the one she lost, deeper even, because this one was built on a foundation instead of a feeling. And she said to me, with the first real lightness I had heard from her in years. This one I am not afraid of, and I know why. I watched her earn every room she is standing in. That is the threshold, my friend. Not a wall, not a test, a pace. The pace of trust, which is slow and seasonal and honest, and which the loyal ones, once they learn it, keep for life, because it lets them be exactly who they are, warm, open, faithful, without being exactly who they were, unguarded. And now hear the last teaching, because it is the hardest one of tonight and the most important. You must forgive the betrayers, in time, in your own way, not because they earned it, but because the alternative is a door sealed shut from the inside, and a sealed door does not protect you, it imprisons you. And the loyal are not built for prison, you know it. You have tried the walls and they felt worse than the wounds. But hear the whole of the old teaching, because the modern world always gives you half. Forgive, yes, and never confuse forgiveness with reinstatement. The betrayer may be forgiven, and the door to them may remain at the threshold forever. Those two things are not only compatible, they are the old practice, and my grandmother lived it visibly. She forgave a relative who had betrayed her deeply, a real betrayal, the kind with money and lies and years of deceit, and she forgave fully. I watched the bitterness leave her over a long season, and when it was gone, it was truly gone, and she spoke of this person without venom for the rest of her life, and the door to that person never opened past the threshold again. Warm greetings at gatherings, the pleasant hour, the kindness any human being deserves, and not 1 inch further for the remaining 30 years, and she never once explained it and never once apologized for it. And when I asked her about it near the end, she said the sentence that holds the whole teaching in 7 words. I forgave her completely, and I remember completely. Forgiveness is the release of the debt. Memory is the keeping of the lesson. The loyal ones who get betrayed the worst are the ones who forgive and forget, who forgive and reinstall, who open the same door to the same person at the same width and are somehow shocked when the same knife comes through it. The old one said, "A good heart is worth nothing in a fool's chest," and the difference between a good heart and a fool's heart is not the love in it. The love is identical. The difference is the memory. Love everyone. Remember everything. And let the threshold do its quiet, unpretentious, ancient work, which is simply this: to make sure that the door that stays open for the ones who earned it is not the same door that opened you to the ones who did not. So there is the whole teaching tonight. The arithmetic, the loyal are betrayed most because they stay longest with the door widest. The filter, you found out last, because faithfulness sorts evidence in favor of the ones it chose, and that was honor, not foolishness. The third path, keep the loyalty, rebuild the door, install the threshold. And the grandmother's 7 words, I forgave her completely, and I remember completely. Go and be loyal, my friend. It is the best thing about you, and I said it at the start, and I say it at the end. The betrayers do not get to kill it. They tried, and here you are, still warm, still willing, still holding doors open for people who have not yet earned the width of them, and that stubborn, beautiful, unkillable warmth of yours is exactly what my grandmother would have called it. The old strength. The one that survives everything, including its own wounds, and comes back to the door, rebuilt, wiser, thresholded, and still, after all of it, open. That is not weakness, my friend. That is the strongest thing a human being can do with a broken door. Build a better one, and open it again. If what you heard today stayed with you, the book is there. The Native Way. 20 teachings, 100 pages, written the way I would speak to you if we were sitting together. Scan the QR code on the screen with your phone or find the link in the comments. Read 1 chapter. Sit with it. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, were you the last to know, and how long did you carry the shame before tonight? I read every comment. And if this is the kind of conversation you have been looking for, subscribe to this channel. We are not collecting viewers here. We are collecting people who remember. Come back next week. I am not done teaching yet.